May have heard a dozen National Guardsmen were removed from duty. Of about 25,000 vetted, authorities were looking for possible ties to extremists. Here's UNM law professor Josh Kastenberg.
Because the Department of Defense recognizes that with your constitutional rights that you don't surrender when you enter the military, you have a right to your political beliefs, as long as those beliefs are not a part of trying to overthrow the government and therefore overthrow the United States Constitution. If we think about this inauguration, this is the first time since the year 1860 where there has been a very real threat of an attempt to prevent a constitutionally elected presidential candidate from becoming president. In 1860, there was a fear of Abraham Lincoln being assassinated or prevented, right? And we have that same fear today. And so it's very, not only is it lawful, it's important that a thorough examination be conducted on any person who is going to be safeguarding this presidential inauguration and transition, particularly in light of what happened on the 6th of January.
So millions watched the downfall of Joe Exotic on the Netflix series Tiger King when this pandemic got started. And you may have seen there's a limo and makeup crew on standby should Joe get a pardon from the president. There are actually dozens expected. Here's what Kastenberg had to say about that.
Trump has issued a number of pardons of his cronies, of those that have supported him, of those that did not testify against him during the Russia investigation, of those who obstructed justice, like former General Michael Flynn, wealthy campaign donors, Jared Kushner's father, and the list goes on. It's hard to know what the Tiger King's relationship is with the president. His lawyers have floated the idea that a pardon is forthcoming. There was some earlier interaction and statements made by, I believe, Don Jr. on it, but nothing should surprise the people of the United States, if not the world, if we see dozens of more odd and questionable pardons that really aren't merited. And it is a constitutional process. But in 1924, the Supreme Court spoke loud and clear on a Prohibition-era bartender case, of all things, that the president's pardon is not something that can be overturned by the courts.
Kastenberg points out all a pardon really does is get rid of the criminal conviction. Other things like a business or military rank lost and the like, those don't change. You don't get those back. And that includes Joe Exotic and his zoo.